Do you think our democracy is at risk in this election?
I think that it is. I always keep saying democracy is great, of course, but democracy people take for granted. It's a word that some people don't even understand. They take it for granted. It's about right and wrong, period. The guy's a monster. He is beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can think of in order to get a rise out of us. I don't know what it is, but he's been doing it, and it's scary.
Last year, RobertDeNiro went on a nonstop rant against Donald Trump, sounding angry in almost every interview as he threw out a bunch of extreme insults at the GOP frontrunner, from calling him a monster to even labeling him a fascist, trying to act like he was some brave hero standing up for democracy. But here's the twist. It all seemed like just another Hollywood performance full of double standards, and now BillMaher has jumped in and completely exposed that fake, self-righteous act. If you enjoy honest truth bombs and bold political takedowns that the mainstream media won't show you, hit that subscribe button because you definitely don't want to miss what's coming next.
So why is Trump winning? I mean, the New York Times poll this week came out, and maybe this will change it with the State of the Union address, but Trump was beating him rather soundly. It was quite a warning light, 48-43, also winning way more among women than he had before, winning outright Latinos. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. I just don't want to feel the way I did, and many of us don't, after the election in 2016.
This is what Trump derangement syndrome does. It takes over your thinking, breaks your logic, and leaves reality behind. RobertDeNiro came with a whole list of reasons why Trump shouldn't be president again, but he couldn't name even one reason why millions of Americans, including a surprising number of women, were excited to bring him back. That's the kind of narrow thinking this obsession causes. And for those on the left still hanging on to the idea that Trump only had a chance because Biden's brain wasn't working right, it's time to wake up. The pre-election polls weren't being subtle. They were loudly showing that Trump was quickly gaining support. The signs were everywhere, and Democrats saw it too, which is why the behind-the-scenes panic kicked in. They didn't want a fair election. They wanted something they could control. So Biden got a gentle push aside, and Kamala Harris quietly moved into the spotlight. You're not imagining all this. You're just finally seeing the truth for what it is.
The guy is a total monster. And anybody, I don't understand it. I guess they get behind that kind of logic. They want to put people, screw them, because they're unhappy about something. He's such a mean, nasty, hateful person. I never play him as an actor because I can't see any good in him. Nothing.
Wait a second, did I hear that right? RobertDeNiro actually said he wouldn't play Donald Trump if he were asked? Let's back up for a moment. First of all, who's even asking? Who in their right mind would cast De Niro as Trump when they don't look anything alike? That's like casting Danny DeVito to play LeBron James. Completely ridiculous. And let's be honest, De Niro isn't the only big actor in Hollywood. So this isn't some bold, principled decision. It's just pure delusion. At best, it's hilarious, and at worst, it sounds like the wild rant of someone slowly losing touch with reality. Anyway, let's jump ahead to the part where he starts making some truly crazy predictions.
Nothing redeemable in him. And we have to, and whoever the people are who want to vote for him, and there look like intelligent people around there, for some reason, it can't be. It cannot be. If he wins the election, you won't be on the show anymore. He'll come looking for me. There'll be things that happen that none of us can imagine. That's what happens in that kind of a dictatorship, which is what he says. Let's believe him, take him at his word.
This is absolutely crazy. Trump's been back in office for months now, and let's be honest, how many of RobertDeNiro's dramatic doomsday predictions actually came true? Zero, not a single one. But here's what did happen. Trump made a move no one saw coming. He invited one of his biggest critics, BillMaher, to the White House. Yes, that BillMaher, the loyal Democrat, longtime liberal donor, and constant critic of Republicans. Not even Obama, Clinton, or Biden gave Maher that kind of seat at the table, but Trump did. Why? Because Trump doesn't avoid tough conversations. He doesn't hide in echo chambers or rely on safe, scripted sound bites. He walks straight into the fire. And that's what makes him not only unpredictable, but also incredibly effective. So in a strange way, De Niro was right. Trump has done the unimaginable, just not in the scary world-ending way Hollywood's been warning us about.
Our democracy is at risk in this election?
I think that it is. I always keep saying democracy is great, of course, but democracy people take for granted. It's a word that some people don't even understand. They take it for granted. It's about right and wrong, period. The guy's a monster. He is beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can think of in order to get a rise out of us. I don't know what it is, but he's been doing it, and it's scary.
At this point, it's painfully clear that Robert De Niro knows very little about anything outside of acting and yelling insults at Donald Trump. Just listen to how he talks about democracy. He starts by saying, "Not everyone understands what it means," then gives a definition so basic and childish it sounds like it came from a middle school textbook. It's not just overly simple, it's arrogant and honestly embarrassing. But really, who's surprised? This is classic woke Hollywood. Loud, full of self-praise, and totally out of touch with the real world. These celebrities live in such a thick bubble that reality can't even reach them. They preach about democracy while trying to shut down anyone who disagrees, acting morally superior but unable to handle different opinions. De Niro isn't some rare case. He's just the loudest voice in a crowd of out-of-touch elites repeating the same things on red carpets. And the rest of us, we're done pretending they should be leading the conversation.
I am totally dumbfounded, baffled by that. I can't understand it. And it's a thing that we've seen over decades and decades. And he's a what's it, Tammy Faye and the other one.
Yes.
It's the same thing, give us your money, we're going to save you. Yeah, televangelist. It's just the same thing.
And De Niro didn't just go after Trump. He went even further by attacking everyday Americans who supported him, holding nothing back as he basically gaslit millions of voters, making them out to be nothing more than clueless suckers tricked by a con man. In De Niro's world, if you believe in Trump, you're either dumb, blind, or brainwashed. That's how much open disrespect he has for anyone outside his elite Hollywood bubble. But here's the irony. The same guy calling Trump supporters gullible is out here repeating talking points straight from late-night comedians and activist news anchors like they're profound truths. De Niro acts like he's some kind of intellectual just because he agrees with the Hollywood groupthink, but that's not intelligence, it's just following the crowd. And that's exactly why more and more Americans are tuning out celebrities. People are tired of being talked down to by out-of-touch millionaires who think being famous makes them wise. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. So when De Niro finally ran into a Trump supporter on the streets of New York, let's just say things got heated.
Bobby, it's your favorite president. I forgive you, Bobby, for being such a loser about the election. It's not your fault you were born with a low IQ. It's not your fault, Bobby. Believe me. Bobby, your favorite president won. Kamala lost. She lost so strongly. You were wrong. You're a loser. You're a total loser. This show sucks. You're gonna get low ratings, Bobby.
But seriously, who made Robert De Niro the national moral guide on how Americans should vote? He lives in a Hollywood bubble, totally shielded from the real struggles everyday people go through. While families were drowning under sky-high gas prices, grocery costs doubling overnight, and paychecks barely stretching to cover the basics under President Biden, De Niro was relaxing in his multi-million-dollar mansion, sipping wine without a worry in the world. He never felt that pressure, never had to choose between paying rent or buying food, so when he smugly lectures Americans for supporting Trump, it doesn't sound passionate, it sounds like pure elitist ignorance. If he's got a personal issue with Trump, that's his business, but that doesn't give him the right to insult and gaslight millions of hard-working people who are simply using their voice to back a leader they believe actually listens to them. That's not activism. It's arrogance pretending to be virtue.
More damning revelations tonight about the Biden inner circle's efforts to hide his decline, including a scene in which the campaign staged a fake town hall. Why? Well, to quell concerns about his age and ability to interact with people.
Meanwhile, the very Democrats that Robert De Niro was passionately urging Americans to keep in power were busy staging fake town halls and feeding scripted lines to prop up their struggling candidate, Joe Biden. Just think about that for a second. This is the party De Niro expects us to blindly support. A party so terrified of the truth that they couldn't even be honest with the American people about Biden's obvious cognitive decline. Instead of addressing it head-on, they hid it, shielded him from tough questions, limited his public appearances, and gave the media carefully crafted talking points to cover up what everyone could already see. But now the truth is finally starting to come out. A new book by CNN's Jake Tapper is about to reveal just how bad Biden's mental decline really was, and how it sent the DNC into full-blown crisis mode. The cover-up is starting to fall apart, and what's being exposed is even worse than we imagined.
Other campaigns have used fake town halls. Now, I would say those town halls usually are in addition to real town halls. Joe Biden was doing neither. This fake town hall was in order to film it so they could make it into campaign commercials. They filmed it in Delaware with supporters. But Joe Biden at this point, this is the spring of 2024, Joe Biden's town hall, which was closed to press, was so bad that campaign officials determined that it was not usable for a campaign commercial. So they took 90 minutes, 2 hours out of the president's day, they filmed an entire town hall, and they determined that it was not usable.
Yep, that's how serious Biden's mental decline really was. Even during a tightly controlled town hall that was scripted from start to finish, with a hand-picked friendly audience designed to make him look confident and in control, he still couldn't hold it together. The questions were rehearsed, the answers were pre-written, and every detail, down to the lighting, was carefully managed. But none of it could hide the truth. Biden fumbled his lines, struggled with even the simplest prompts, and slipped into those now all too familiar senior moments. You can almost picture it. He's answering a basic question, suddenly drifts off topic, mumbles something no one can understand, then awkwardly walks off stage with his hand out as if to shake hands with someone who isn't there. It might be funny if it weren't so sad. At this point, it's not about party politics anymore, it's about leadership, and whether the man behind the microphone even knows where he is.
Now, some people say this was because Joe Biden was incoherent. He could not really articulate his thoughts in a pithy or even semi-normal way. Some people just said like the lighting was bad. That was sort of the 2 points of view. But the point is, it shows how like what the campaign status was in the spring of 2024 when they were trying to, deal with a candidate that wasn't a decline.
So here's the big question: why now? Why did Jake Tapper suddenly decide to write a book exposing Biden's mental decline? What's the real reason behind it? Because let's be honest, Biden's cognitive issues weren't a secret. They weren't hidden behind closed doors. Anyone who was paying attention could clearly see it. The stumbles, the blank stares, the confused mumbling. It was all right there in the open. Yet for years the media, including Tapper, either ignored it, downplayed it, or danced around the truth. The only ones pretending everything was fine were the Democrats, as long as they could hold on to power. But now, with poll numbers changing and the story falling apart, we suddenly get a tell-all book? It feels like political damage control, too little, too late. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed our bold take, hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.